This week on ANN, administrators of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Portugal meet with the country's president.
The church in Korea finds a way to minister to visitors and athletes during the 2018 Winter Olympics.
And in Estonia, the Adventist Church commits to outreach during the country's 100th anniversary.
These stories and more coming up.
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
First in the news, earlier this week, the President of the Republic of Portugal, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, visited the Central Lisbon Seventh-day Adventist Church and participated in the Sabbath worship service. President de Sousa had promised this visit during an official audience at his residence with church administrators nearly a month before.
Church leaders requested the meeting in February to introduce the region's new administrators and discuss religious freedom and the social environment of the country. The Republic of Portugal and the Adventist Church have enjoyed a long-standing friendship.
During the meeting, church leaders recognized Portugal's advanced constitutional and legal framework, specifically highlighting the rights of freedom of conscience, worship, and religion.
The administration reinforced their commitment to dialogue with public authorities and religious communities in the defense and protection of these rights. They also pledged their cooperation in social and humanitarian matters.
President de Sousa said, "I thank this church for its contribution to justice building and social solidarity towards a more human, fraternal, and united Portugal."
Adventist church members in the Pyeongchang area shared 5,000 copies of Steps to Christ printed in the English language with Olympics visitors. The Winter Olympics were held in Pyeongchang, Korea last month. The initiative was a collaborative effort between the Adventist Church in Northern Asia-Pacific region, the church's 2 offices in Korea, and several local churches. His Hands Mission Movement missionaries also provided free foot massages, praying for each person. Before the Olympics began, Sejosa, the Adventist publishing house in Korea, held a ceremony for the books and missionary work. Attendees prayed recipients would realize the love of Jesus and give him thanks. Sejosa President Pastor Kil-sung said, "During this time, many people will visit Korea for this World Festival of Winter Sports. Now it is time to put our hands together to make it the festival of the gospel. We need the prayers, support, and cooperation of all Korean church members as well as volunteers."
It has been exactly 100 years since Estonia first gained independence as a nation. As celebrations engulfed the small Baltic nation of just 1.3 million people, the country's president urged its citizens to consider what they can give back. Members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church were happy to oblige. Working in partnership with the Adventist Church in the TransEuropean region, an area commonly referred to as a division, and the General Conference's Global Mission Fund, the nearly 1,500 church members committed to church plants, a center of influence in the capital city of Tallinn, and a variety of outreach programs. The TransEuropean Division sent this report.
If we offer them tea, we sit down and we talk of different things about life. And we offer them books. We have free books.
We provide individual psychotherapy, physiotherapy, massage, trainings, and we have a small boutique. So it's different from church. You can't, at least in our case, you can't do this kind of business from the church building.
And so this is the family counseling room, so families with kids, children, mothers, fathers, they will come here for, for counsel from Pastor Margue.
One of the easiest way to bring people in is through a community center where we have, where mental health is very important.
She works in the shop.
Yeah, shop is very
every
important.
day.
And the people that we have here, like the customers that come to the shop, they become our regular customers, and then we become friends with them. And so it's easy for us to invite them when we have activities here.
You can read more at news.adventist.org.
Many schools in the Virgin Islands had to relocate their students due to the havoc left in the wake of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. St. Thomas St. John Seventh-day Adventist School was one of them. The school lost 80% of its roof, suffered damaged walls, chairs, and desks. Computers were also destroyed. The principal of the school, Whitman Brown, said the school is operating from 2 sites so far. Teachers and the 163 primary and secondary students have been attending classes at the Shiloh Adventist Church and the City Adventist Church in St. Thomas. Thanks to a nonprofit organization called All Hands International, the school is closer to rebuilding. All Hands Volunteers is a volunteer-powered disaster relief organization dedicated to rebuilding hope for people impacted by natural disasters all over the world. For 2 weeks in January, a team of 30 volunteers cleaned the school's premises by removing drywall, ceiling tiles, and instructional tools that were damaged. Brown hopes that the final repairs and rebuilding can begin soon. He would like to see students and teachers back in their classrooms on campus at the start of the new school year in August.
We turn our attention now to another story of hurricane cleanup in the Inter-America region.
Seventh-day Adventists in the British Virgin Islands have been volunteering their time and talents to numerous roof reconstruction projects in the wake of the devastating 2017 hurricane season. The British Virgin Islands are comprised of Virgin Gorda, Tortola, and St. Martin.
Dozens of volunteers took to rebuilding roofs and walls and assisting the many who have been disrupted by the destructive winds of Hurricanes Irma and Maria.
Henry Peters, Community Services Director for the church in the North Caribbean, said, "The Seventh-day Adventist Church believes that preaching the good news must be accompanied with good deeds, so the community must be impacted by the church."
At the Virgin Gorda Adventist Church, members invested weekends and afternoons to community roof replacement projects. The government, after hearing of the initiative, provided gloves, saws, extension cords, and tools to assist in the rebuilding.
The island of Tortola is similarly posed for reconstruction. Adventist Church properties on Tortola sustained major damage. The Carrot Bay Adventist Church was severely battered by storm surge. The first floor of the Road Town Adventist Church was demolished, and the church school was severely damaged as well.
Howard Simon, a pastor in Tortola, said, "The members continue to be strong and resilient. Many of them have been affected, and we are trying all we can to support them and be there for them."
For more information, visit news.adventist.org.
Coming up, 350 young adults converge to praise God and be inspired.
But up next, find out why people lined up outside the Phoenix Convention Center before dawn on Christmas morning.
Ich bin Gerald. Ich spreche Deutsch. Es gibt so viele gute adventistische Videos, doch so wenige sind übersetzt. Du kannst uns helfen.
Join the Amara translation and caption team today. Amara is easy to learn and fun. You can volunteer in your free time. Join this community today and provide great content in your language.
Welcome back.
This past Christmas, more than 6,700 people received free health care during the Your Best Pathways to Health clinic in Phoenix, located in the U.S. state of Arizona.
The event took place from December 25 to 27 and was Pathway 6 Clinic.
More than 3,300 volunteers, including health professionals, provided medical, dental, and vision support, physical therapy, lifestyle education, financial, legal, childcare, haircuts, and even surgical specialties. The total value of the medical procedures performed and services offered was $40,608,800.
The Your Best Pathways for Health team sent this report.
And it's no coincidence they started seeing patients on Christmas.
There's an organization called Your Best Pathway to Health, and it's set up shop at the Phoenix Convention Center.
Backed by more than 3,300 volunteers, they're providing medical, vision, dental care, and more, all for free.
It's nearly 2 a.m. It's pretty chilly out. I've felt the degrees drop a couple of degrees in the past half hour. But my mom and I, we're toughing it out. We're out here, as troopers.
In the Valley of the Sun, 1.6 million people have made the 5th largest city in America their home. It was here that Your Best Pathway to Health, a humanitarian service of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, chose to team up with Loma Linda University Health, the the office of Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton, Adventist congregations, and dozens of other organizations, along with civic leaders and state leaders in Arizona, to give a special gift.
I think this is better than receiving a box of gifts because usually, you know, they go in the closet or they get ruined or something, and I think this benefits more people because it's something that's going to last with them and that with them for a really long time.
Help was offered to those in need of medical, dental, and optical care. Services also included massage, surgery, prescription drugs, and lifestyle counseling. Over $40 million were donated to aid about 7,000 people, regardless of race, religion, or status.
So I'm on Facebook one day and I see this post and it's announcing this special event and I'm wondering if it's for real. So I click on it, I see Dr. Leela at Phoenix City Hall announcing the event, and yes, it's for real, and I imagine this is a great opportunity and I'm going to go for it.
I was able to serve the community by being part of the hydrotherapy and massage team. And what I did was give 10 to 15-minute massages, and we were able to pray with the patients and just communicate. And touch is very healing, and prayer is very healing as well. And in return, I was blessed as well.
My name is Barbara Torres. I came for pediatrics for my daughter Ella. And then we got offered a massage and then got an ultrasound. It was amazing. It was amazing. A lot of good help. It was awesome. I would totally come back.
We were praying, and one person has a huge burden for the x-ray machine. 2 of the 3 x-ray machines broke down. And we lifted up to the Lord. 15 minutes later, there was one guy who came, tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Jem, can I speak to you?" And he told me the machine worked. And this is the technician who could not explain what happened. We were praying, "Lord, please do something really miraculous," that even the technician would not understand what just happened.
As I see it, and as I've experienced it, Pathway to Health is a great organization run by special people providing a special community service. Service with a smile, service with care, and even service with a prayer.
Oh Lord, humbly, in a humble manner, we come to you, asking for your help for him, that he is able to understand that you are always there.
It's one thing to tell someone that you care. It's a completely different thing to roll up your sleeves and show them. From December 25 through 27, our goal was to give the greatest gift we could ever give, ourselves.
We have helped people here, but the biggest blessing has been to me. It has renewed my spirit. It is the best thing I have ever done in my life.
It was worth it. I don't even care if I had got nothing done. I've been with people who love the Lord. They prayed for me. I saw children, little kids, actually showing the love of God, and you cannot get that anywhere. So I just want to take this time to thank y'all for all the volunteers who came all over the world.
But I'm leaving here today so fulfilled and so grateful for all of the angels that God has put into my life. And being here today. And I want to say thank you to everybody for what they've done for me in my life.
That is mission. That is mission accomplished. That is mission accomplished together.
Adventists in Bolivia are helping in relief efforts after heavy rains in recent weeks have caused flooding in several areas and municipalities in the country. The government of Bolivia has declared a state of emergency. So far, 1 person was confirmed dead in Cotagaita and 4 in Tiquipaya. The Deputy Minister of Civil Defense, Carlos Sprue, reported that there were 86 affected families reported, meaning those who suffered the loss of their goods and homes, and more than 6,100 families were indirectly affected. The Adventist Church in the country reports that each church will become a center for the collection of food, clothing, blankets, and materials that can be used to help the victims. Young volunteers of the church met to go to the affected areas and help in the distribution of food and non-perishable items. They also helped with the search for people who are still missing among the rubble and damage caused by mud and overflowing rivers.
More than 350 young adults from across Australia enjoyed a weekend of spiritual and social highlights at this year's Converge camp held at the Stewards Point Convention Centre in New South Wales, Australia. The camp is promoted as a time to come hang out with Jesus and your mates. The Youth Congress was the initiative of the Youth Department of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Australia. Initially, the youth team had logged in Converge for a 3-year trial. This year, it was unanimously voted to continue Converge in the future. Jeff Parker, youth director of the church in Australia, said, "Converge has been a real success. We are so excited about the young adults who have attended. Our church really needs the energy and passion that they offer. A church without them would not be a church at all." Converge 2019 will run over the weekend of February 8 to 11. For more information on Converge, visit record.adventistchurch.com.
And finally in the news this week, when filmmaker Richard Aguilera first started doing stewardship projects, he discovered that he did not have a full understanding of what it meant to be a good steward for God.
Like many, when he heard about stewardship, he assumed the words tithe and offerings were soon to follow. He soon discovered how much bigger stewardship really is.
In late 2015, Aguilera began a conversation with the stewardship director for the Adventist Church in North America, John Matthews. Matthews had asked him to help produce resources to teach young people stewardship principles in a way they could understand. Matthews and Aguilera decided to teach kids about stewardship through feature film storytelling.
The Mysterious Note, a story about a Chicago family who learns about stewardship through a 4-day adventure of mystery and self-discovery, will be released in the spring of 2018.
Aguilera explains that at its core, stewardship is about acknowledging that God is the owner of everything we have, and we have been placed as accountable managers of these things.
He says, this included being good managers of our time, health, environment, talents, families, and of course, our financial resources. I also learned that it was a way I could live my faith and trust in God.
You can find out more at themysteriousnote.com.
Some people just seem to know how to find trouble.
What? I got an F. Big deal.
Other people will do anything to get what they want.
I am planning on going in person to Michigan this Friday. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure he agrees to it. I urge you to take this offer before I walk out that door.
But things are about to change.
You wanted us to stay here for 4 days? Is he crazy?
So I want you to compare the common way of managing your life and God's way of managing it.
I'm Cam, and this is Faye.
I'm Josh. Did you know there's a hole in the wall here? Whoa, this place is way too cool.
When a mysterious note is found.
That thing is ancient.
A platitudinous weekend.
What? What's the matter?
Dad, there's no signal here.
Will turn into a life-changing adventure.
You have to turn on the Wi-Fi? Oh, that's so cute!
And the discovery of what it means to be a good steward.
Steward? Like Martha Stewart? Being generous seems to be getting you in trouble.
Helping someone you don't even know? That's just whack.
What are you, timorous?
Me? No. What's timorous? Guys, what's this?
Coming up, Emily Mastrapa joins us for another social media highlight.
But up next, find out how a global mission pioneer is advancing God's work in Kenya.
May I work in with you, young fella?
Yeah. Go for it.
That's the way you do it. Got to put a little weight on it. Well, I'll put it back up here for you.
Welcome back.
For many of us, getting a drink of water is as simple as turning on the faucet. But in northern Kenya, getting water is a lot more work.
Let's see how a global mission pioneer is impacting this African village.
Adventist Mission has more.
For many of us, getting a drink of water is as simple as turning on the faucet. But here in northern Kenya, getting water is a lot more work. For most of the year, rain is nothing more than a distant memory. In the dry months, stream beds dry up and finding water becomes a challenge. Digging under the sand like this is the only way to get a simple drink around here. Julius is a global mission pioneer working in this part of Kenya. He came here to share the gospel message with this remote group. Through Christ's method, Julius has developed real relationships with the villagers, and many of them have accepted Jesus into their hearts. Sadly, these new believers don't have a church building of their own to worship in. They meet regularly inside this humble, mud-walled building. This space is a public facility owned by the area chief, and he allows them to gather here. The villagers hope to have an Adventist church building someday. They trust that God will provide for them and are grateful for the temporary space they worship in now. This has been the location of countless Bible studies, prayer meetings, and singing sessions. Julius loves discussing new topics with the villagers, and they are eager to learn more. Joseph and Penina are married, and they've been studying the Bible with Julius for quite some time now. They have committed their lives to Jesus, but haven't had the opportunity to be baptized yet. Joseph and Penina have been waiting about a year for enough rain to come to this area so they can get baptized. It is so dry that it isn't possible without a good rain. Until then, they wait patiently and continue studying and learning with Julius. Despite the challenges, God is doing amazing things in villages like this through the work of global mission pioneers. Julius and other pioneers in Kenya ask for your prayers. Advancing the work can be difficult here, but God's faithful servants are eager to share His message. Please pray for pioneers around the globe and consider how you can support them. Thank you for supporting mission.
Watch this and other mission stories online by visiting AdventistMission.org, then click on videos at the top.
Did you know that March 20 is International Day of Happiness?
Emily Mastrop is here to tell you why you should be involved and how you can participate by creating more happiness in the world around you.
There are over 7.4 billion people in the world. Every one of them has the right to happiness, and not all of them know it. March 20 is the International Day of Happiness. Since 2013, the United Nations has celebrated the International Day of Happiness as a way to recognize the importance of happiness in the lives of people around the world. This day sets out to achieve two different goals. One is to address the challenges faced by humankind in the quest to achieve happiness. The second is to promote, preserve, and celebrate that happiness is a universal human right and goal. Visit happinessday.org for more information and to sign the pledge to create more happiness in the world. Join in on letting the world know what brings you happiness. Share your happiness with the world by using the hashtag International Day of Happiness. You can follow that hashtag to see what other people are saying. And be sure to follow Happiness Day's Twitter at Happy Day March 20. Tell your friends, your family, and your neighbors. Tell yourself and remind yourself that happiness is a fundamental human right, and happiness for all is a fundamental human goal.
And finally, for today's episode, let's turn to David Trim for a look at Adventist history.
This week, we learn about one man's expansive ministry and how it took him around the world.
This week in Adventist history, we focus on one story of commitment and leadership. On the 5th of March 1982, Henry L. Rudy, a former General Vice President of the General Conference, died in Portland, Oregon at the age of 80. Henry had begun his career in Oregon in 1921. 5 years later, aged just 24, he and his wife Hazel, who was 3 years younger than him, together with their daughters Ingrid and Maxine, went as missionaries to Europe, where they served for 11 years. Henry founded the church's seminary in Poland before serving as a conference president in that country, as a departmental director for the Northern European Division, and as president of the Baltic Union Conference. After 18 months' service in Canada, Henry and Hazel went back to Europe as missionaries, where the rise of Nazism meant that able leaders were much needed. Henry spent 1 year as secretary of the Central European Division, which had responsibility for the Middle East. Rudy urged, "The time has come to enter the Muslim world without delay." Sadly, war got in the way. He served 2 years as division president from 1939 to 1941, but the Rudys returned to North America after the United States entered World War II. Henry became president of the Canadian Union Conference, but the 1950 General Conference session elected him a vice president of the World Church. He served 2 terms, and then from 1959 to 1967 was president of the Oregon Conference, before ending his career back where he started with 6 months' service in pastoral ministry in Oregon. Rudy was notable for his breadth of leadership experience, his commitment to mission to all peoples and creeds, and his support for pastoral ministry. That was this week in Seventh-day Adventist history.
Thanks for watching A&N. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
We'd love to hear from you. Send us your feedback and tell us how your church is making a difference in its community.
Be sure to capture plenty of video footage and photos, then write up a summary of the event's important details, and feel free to send full video reports as well.
You can reach us by sending an email to annvideo11@gmail.com.
Before we say goodbye, here's some good news from the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 16.
The passage says, "But without faith it is impossible to please Him. For he who comes to God must believe that He is, and that He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him."
That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.